And I'm going to begin to twist these two together again. So you have to really kind of get in tight against your piece, and you're going to grab with your thumb and your index finger once again and begin twisting it together. So this is the first video in our series of learning to cage crystals. The first piece we're going to tackle is a raw piece of amethyst. So if you want to follow along with this video, any crystal that has a nice texture to it, so small little pointy crystals, typically with a flat back, is what we're going to be looking at in this video. We're going to be actually covering several different types of crystals over the following weeks. That will be all linked in a caging playlist. If you want to follow along, be sure to subscribe. And we're going to cover several different shapes and styles of pieces to cage. So for this first project, we need just a few basic tools. We need our cutters, our round nose, and our flat nose. And I'm going to be using a 22 gauge enamel coated copper wire. So in some of my previous videos, I typically try to work on the spool as much as possible. Unfortunately, with most caging methods, it just doesn't work that way. So we do have to try to guess how much wire you need and cut off your pieces. When we're going to be caging most of these videos, we'll be using two pieces of wire and intertwining them together in order to cage our piece. So kind of when measuring, there's no right or wrong way to do this. As you're beginning, I would definitely start with more wire, obviously, and then as you practice and get a feel for it, you can tighten up your distance to know a little bit kind of subconsciously how much you might need, but that does come with practice. So my ish way is to kind of take the how big your rock is, obviously. So the bigger the rock, the more wire you're going to need. So definitely the height of that piece plus then a good 3 inches at least over the top and double that. So that's kind of approximately how I'm going to measure for this rock. So I have the height plus around 3 inches, and I'm going to cut that. Now I want to duplicate this so I have the same length of wire. Okay, so we have our 2 chunks of wire. And in beginning the wrap, what we're going to do is twist these 2 wires together to form our bottom. The method that we're going to use, I have done in another video, so I'm going to link that in the description as well as the top of this video. And if you want to go into a greater detail on the technique of this style of wrap. It seems like a very basic method, but there's always little tips and tricks to be had, so be sure to watch that video if you're definitely just starting out. So we're going to want to make sure we're kind of approximately in the middle of these 2 wires, so that's about where my thumb is. And you're going to grab on with your flat nose pliers. You're going to want to grab on as high as you can that isn't getting up into the joint of your plier. Sometimes there's like little gaps and weird spots that could dent your wire, so just make sure you're not way up touching the insides, but just as high as you can, because it's going to be the flattest part that can grab onto both wires. If you're in the tips, a lot of times this outside wire will sometimes just fall out. So we're going to grab as high as we can. With the pliers, I'm grabbing slightly off center. So my thumb is approximately center, and then I'm grabbing off center because I want to be doing my twist in the middle of these 2 wires. So you're going to grab on and hold on really tight with one hand, and then your other wrapping hand is free to split these 2 wires. We're going to make a V. So we're going to make kind of like a right angle between these 2 wires, and we're going to begin twisting these 2 around each other. So your thumb and your index finger are going to push and twist around each other. Like I said, there is a video that I have that goes into this a little more in depth if you struggle with this part of getting this wrap nice and tidy. So we're going to give that a few twists. So we don't have a huge piece, so we're going to aim for just kind of like a little seat for this crystal. So I did about 3 or 4 twists here, and that's about all we need. Now we're going to even off this side. So we're going to turn it around. And now a little bit more gently. You don't want to grab it too hard because we don't necessarily want to like completely compress this twist here. If you want a flattened look, by all means, squeeze away. But for the sake of this, we're just going to grab it just enough just to make sure we're holding it. We're going to split these 2. I usually find if I just left it like how it is right now, the kind of where it ended is a little cockeyed. So I tend to just give it one more twist to just make sure it's nice and even on both sides of how it looks. And that is now the beginnings of the bottom of our pendant. So this first twist that we have is going to line up right on whatever you determine the bottom of your piece is. So I've determined this is my bottom and this point is my top. That might be different for you. Maybe you like it this way. Either way, this is the bottom that I have determined for mine. So that is where this little wrap is going to sit. The next thing we're going to kind of be trying to look at is where these wires might sit through. So because this is a very textured crystal, you have to kind of see where you want that wire to kind of sit in and around these crystals. But the benefit of that is that your wire literally can't slip. Your wire will lay between those crystals and it's not going to fall out. So just find a nice corner that it can smoothly go between. You may have to kind of bend it between. You might want to go higher. You know, it's going to really depend on your piece. So you can't copy exactly what I do because it's going to be based on your piece. So when you're kind of trying to get it to fit, if you use kind of a fingernail, you can lift it up, and I'm bending it so that it's pushing into those grooves so that it's sitting into the crystal. And then I'm going to pull it more towards the back. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So you have to kind of get good at holding lots of little different spots to make sure your wire isn't shifting while you're trying to determine where these wires go. And the next one, I have this nice big crystal here, so I'm going to try and get them to kind of curve around and sit around that nice crystal there and come to the back. So that is where I'm going to lay my wires on the front. So now we're going to come to the back, and you can see here I have these two wires are the ones that I didn't use. So those are now going to come in and tie in with these other pieces. So these two bottom wires are actually going to crisscross and go to opposite sides to meet up with these other wires. So we're going to press those down onto the back and cross to the opposite side. So you always are double checking that your wire is still where you've placed it. This is the benefit of starting with a crystal that has lots of like nooks and crannies, because the wire typically does stay where you put it, as opposed to a more polished, smooth piece. Those wires want to shift and move every time you rotate a piece. So we're going to start with this side first. Where you place this twist, this next twist that we're going to do, is really up to you. You can place it on the side of your crystal. It can come up on this edge, or it can go along the back. It really doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. I think on this piece, I'm going to place mine on the back side. So I'm going to bring this wire that went around these crystals onto the back, and I'm going to fold it over, and I'm going to begin to twist these two together again. So you have to really kind of get in tight against your piece. And you're going to grab with your thumb and your index finger once again and begin twisting it together. As you're doing this, if you find, like I got mine pretty tight, but sometimes there is a little gap right in here where you began twisting that. It's not quite as tight down there as you want. If you want to tighten that up and you weren't able to do it as you were twisting, you can take your flat nose pliers and you can grab on really close to the base and give it just like a quarter or a half a turn that will tighten it up down right at this base. Do this with caution, as if you keep twisting too much right in one spot, you can break your wires. You will actually over tighten it. So do that with caution if you are tightening it, but it is a great way to just simply eat up a little bit of that excess wire, sometimes right underneath there. So then you can continue twisting this up. Usually kind of you're aiming kind of for the middle portion of your stone. So you kind of have to check on the front to make sure you're not going too high, but you also don't want it too short. Otherwise, your next wire is going to be coming out possibly in a funny spot. As I said, it really depends on your piece. So I do have this kind of big crystal chunk right here. So I have to decide if I'm going to go under that or over that when it comes to bringing it up to the top. So these are all things that you have to watch for on your piece. That will determine how long this back twist is. For mine, I think I have determined that I'm going to actually go under this piece. So anytime you can kind of go under a crystal point or a chunk, that's going to help hold your piece in because, well, gravity. So if you have it sit underneath your pendant sitting down, you know, you have something tangible for to sit in. So that is always a helpful thing. So I'm going to now bring this up and kind of tuck it under and around that crystal point. We're going to just hang it tight there and leave it and come back to that afterwards. So we're going to finish this other side. So we have this other wire coming across once again on the back side. Get that out of the way. And we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to do a nice little twist on this side. So you can see I don't have quite as much room for where that wire is going to come. This is kind of a shallow corner, so I'm probably not going to do a lot of twisting on this side. But we're going to go through the same kind of method here. So we're going to get in nice and tight, twist just a couple. And once again, like I said, if you want, you can get in there and twist that whole thing just to snuggle it up. And that's probably all I'm going to do, because I'm not 100% sure yet where that piece is going to go. You'd have to just kind of sit and almost meditate with a piece, just looking at it, watching where your crystals go. You can't rush the process and just kind of wing it and just jump in. You have to kind of really stop and think, where can I hook into? Where might this look good? So these are all things that you're going to want to be stopping and looking at as you go. For right this minute, we're not going to worry about too much on the front, but we're going to come to the back side quickly and finish this first. So along the way, as you're doing your bends and turns, if your wire starts to get a little kind of kinked up, just make sure you're checking along the way, and you can just simply take your flat nose pliers and just kind of try to smooth out some of those little kinks as you're getting to that part of the wire. So since we're coming up to the top, you know, if I had a few little bends here, I'm just going to smooth those out. Okay, so these two now are going to meet up at the point where our pendant should hang. So you have to kind of, because this one's kind of asymmetrical, you know, obviously we don't necessarily want the top coming out right at this point, because it's not necessarily where is the straight level part of the pendant. It's slightly kind of off of that point. So my center, I think, aesthetically of where the bail would hang is more just kind of to the side of that point. So that's kind of where I'm going to be shooting for these two wires to cross over and meet and begin the top of our bail. So we're going to cross them over and do a small amount of twists there just to bring them together to begin the top. So I will kind of determine where I want them to cross, maybe pinch it down and twist those together. So twist, twist a couple times. It can stick up above your stone. That's totally fine. It can be slightly below. It doesn't matter too much. You'll get a feel for what you like. Sometimes I make like a longer, what I call the neck of the pendant, and I'll actually purposefully twist it up if I want to add some decoration. I mean, this is a pretty stone to begin with, so I don't really feel like I need to add too much decoration to the top of it. But that is one spot that you can leave yourself an opening for that. All right, so let's finish the top of the bail now. So we did our base twist there, which holds now the two wires together. And now we're going to bring these two wires together. So when I pinch these, I don't know if you can see it, maybe I can zoom in on it. You can see how I created kind of like a little almost opening right there, is like a little circle here. So in order to prevent that, when you're bringing your wires together, I'll usually kind of grab them with my flat nose, and then I'll pinch them and bring them up together so that I don't undo my twisting while I'm smoothing these to bring them up to make my loops. Next, you're going to grab your round nose pliers, and you're going to fold these two guys down, and we're going to pinch in and push in like this, so that we're going to make kind of like a teardrop shape on the top and have these coming straight down. So now we have kind of all of those all lined up together. And that is the basic top part of our bail. Now we're going to come back to the front and finish up with these two wires that are sitting here. So this one, we already kind of had it started tucked underneath this crystal to help hold there. So this one's pretty much just going to come straight up to the top. It's already kind of approximately where I want it. I can't say that I would feed it any differently. We have to figure this guy out. So it's kind of a little awkward. Normally I would probably feed it just kind of like that, but I feel like because there's no crystals here and it's kind of got this slope, it's just going to want to jump off the piece. So I'm going to almost kind of use it a little decoratively, and we're going to kind of come through around this crystal. I probably wouldn't normally recommend coming this far into the piece. It's just what I think works currently in this crystal. There's no right or wrong reason of how far to come in. I just think aesthetically it looks best on this piece. So both of these wires are going to come up to the top. So all of these wires need to be fixed off in some way. If I just cut these back wires right now, then this top bail is going to come out. If I just simply obviously cut these wires, then there's nothing holding the front face. So all 4 of these wires need to do something around the neck of this pendant. So pretty much you're just going to pick a wire to start. I usually start with these front facing wires. These 2 wires that are going down, I usually deal with them kind of after. So this one's already kind of in place, so we're going to start with this guy. So it's where I want it. Double check that it's how you're sitting, how you like. You're going to pinch nice and tight, and you're going to begin bringing it around the neck. So I'm trying to tuck it down and around, and I'm going to bring that guy around at least once. Now I'm going to go to the next wire, and I'm going to bring him up. Once again, make sure this is where you want it to sit, nice and snug. And you're also going to bring that one around at least once. So now I have these 2 wires. If you know you're not doing any other kind of artistic flair of twisting, these have now made it around the neck at least once. You can just clip them off and be done with it. If you're not 100% sure what you're doing yet, usually I will just leave it to the end, and that's when I'll determine what I'm going to do with those. Now we have these last 2 wires that we have to also do something with. They also need to go up and around the neck or turn in some direction in order to anchor them off. So you could bring them to the front face of the piece and do a little coil. So now because they've come up and around, they are no longer able to just simply pull out of the edge. I feel like because this is already a very nice detailed sparkly amethyst, I'm really not going to want to add a lot of like curls and swirls to it. I feel like it's going to be too busy. So all we're going to do is wrap these around a couple times. So I'm going to just file in line with that guy. Since we're going this direction, this guy's also going to come around. And there we go. We got all 4 wires, have all twisted around at least once. This part can get kind of a little messy. So try to take care with how you're wrapping them around, that you don't get too much overlapping into funky spots. You do tend to get, you know, some change here, and that's totally fine. Okay, so now one by one we have to determine how to cut these off into a spot that is going to lay them into sort of the pattern of the wrap. If I just cut all 4 in this exact same spot, you're going to have this big kind of chunky edge where you're going to have all of those clippings of wire. So we have to kind of layer them in and around so that they kind of tuck in and almost disappear. So I'm going to start with this first one here because there's a nice spot there. And then you get in there with your flat nose pliers and you're just going to tuck that wire down and try and feed it into the curve. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to maybe bring it up top here, clip it and put it into that little hole. So each one you just want to keep trying to find it a nice little home that it kind of almost seems like it disappears into. Sometimes it might mean wrapping it around a couple more times. You can also end in a decoration. So that's that one. If you want, like this last one, I could then take and make myself a little coil. Sometimes ending in one little coil on the neck of your pendant is just a nice way to cover up some of the little extra ends that you see. And then you don't see it quite as much by having just one nice little swirl in the front. So all I did was use my round nose pliers to start the curve, and then I used my flat nose to keep turning the circle. And that is on there. And then the last thing you're going to do is just straighten everybody out. So I usually go in with my round nose and I kind of re-round out these curves if they got kind of turned a little bit. I'm going to put my fingernails between those and open those guys up. And there we are. We have a finished caged pendant. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe over the next coming weeks. I'll be having more tutorials coming out on all the different shapes and styles that we can wire wrap. This was just the very first one. I will have a playlist of all the different videos. If you come in a little later, you can check those out. Be sure to check the video description as well for some other videos.